Welcome to the People Connect podcast. Your network is your net worth. Are you ready to take your life to the next level? Be prepared to leap out of your comfort zone and connect with the who's who of what you want to do. Stop, drop, and roll as we start, market, and grow the CEO of you and your host, Nichelle Womack. She will help you engage, reinvent, motivate, and reactivate your plans for success.
Hello. Welcome to the People Connect podcast. I am your host, Nichelle Womack. I thank you so much for being a part of my day today. We greatly appreciate all your downloads from iTunes and other areas that you find us. This is the show that brings you inspiration, motivation, and some push to help you get to that next level in your life, whether it's your business, your relationship, whatever. We want to make certain that you are great in what you do. So thanks for sharing the broadcast to others, and thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us. I am so excited. I have one of my guests. We've tried to interview several times, and we've always had some issues, but so thankful to have her here with me today. I initially met this wonderful lady on Periscope in a group. And she provides a means where if you are not familiar with scoping, she allows you to come and join the train. And on that train, she has a wonderful cast of people that come on and they share about what they do. And she has a topic that she gives, and it really addresses what you're doing right now in your life, in your business. And it allows you to think and kind of get your word out there about who you are. So I was very impressed with that. Her collaboration with other people and coming in to do such a thing with the broadcast and teaching you how to scope. So I'll let Miss Dr. Aikyna Finch go ahead and introduce herself, and she can tell us all the great things that she has going on and what she can do to help you as a person herself that has transitioned from corporate America into entrepreneurship. Welcome, Dr. Finch. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity to speak to your audience today.
Awesome. Well, we are excited that you're here. A lot of what we talk about and what I discuss is that new stage entrepreneur. And, of course, you are a PhD holder. And so you've been in the corporate realm, you've been in the classroom, and all of that. I'm just really curious, and I know my listeners are curious as well, your transition, because what I find so many people have difficulty in doing that. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what made you transition into entrepreneurship, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, I will. Well, my background is in higher education. I received my doctorate in 2009, and in 2010, I joined a university. And most people start as faculty and then build up. However, I was able to start in as a full-fledged dean. So I had my own campus, my own students, all these good things. We were housed in another business, so we gave education opportunities to all of the businesses' employees. And so it was a great way for them, a great benefit to them, and it was a great learning experience for myself. And as it grew, I went higher up into the company and what have you. And then one day I realized that I love to help. I am a servant leader. And, as corporate changes, corporate may shift in the way that they were doing things at the beginning when you may have come on. And then as you're going, you're also shifting in your mindset as well. And I realized that I could do a different type of helping if I decided to go into entrepreneurship. And during this time, I had started on Periscope and reaching out to the masses and talking to them about empowerment and encouragement and things of that nature. And I realized that is where I wanted to be, to help women reach their fullest potential, to get to their next level of greatness, because there were so many that was on the cusp and just needed that support system, just needed that help, just needed that push, as you say. and I wanted to be in that number where they could come and get that support and love. And I knew that being in corporate, in the position that I was in, I was not going to be able to give my full self to these women. And so I made the decision that it was time for me to transition and give my full self to my purpose, which is to help and serve.
Awesome. So in regards to your transition, because coming from corporate, and this is, I actually share this with my students and I teach this on a regular basis. A lot of people get it misconstrued because they think it's very easy to transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. For some it is, especially if you plan accordingly, but for others it isn't. Can you please share with us what was your greatest fear transitioning from corporate with the security, the paycheck and all of that into entrepreneurship?
Well, just that, having a paycheck every 2 weeks, knowing that the money was going to be there. When you're an entrepreneur, every month you start with zero, and it's your job to make it to where you want it to be. Now, the true statement of that is the sky's the limit for you as an entrepreneur. How you put it and how you position it, you don't have to get that set paycheck that the employer is going to give you, the corporate is going to give you. That is a bonus to that. But there's also uncertainty with that because sometimes that doesn't always pan out. And so being that secure and having such a long-running position, that was a lot. It was something to think about. Also insurance, things of that nature, what you're going to do with that, all of these. But at the end of the day, you have to make your leap. Not everybody is an entrepreneur. I'm going to go ahead and say that. And you shouldn't feel bad if you are not an entrepreneur. That may not be your calling, that may not be your gift. It's perfectly fine because we need people of all caliber. But if you are an entrepreneur, if it's been nagging you for 2 or 3 years like myself, and I just did not heed the call, that's a different situation. There's going to come a point where you're going to have to either go ahead and plan to do it or it's going to do it for you.
I agree.
Yes, and I was that person. I wish I could say that I had planned it out and decided I was going to do whatever, but situations came through and I was given an out to where I could go ahead and do this. It wasn't expected to me. It wasn't it wasn't the thing that I was saying, oh my goodness, yes, I'm going to leave on this day and going to do this on that day. No, but it was like either you take it or you don't, and you take it. And
I agree.
Yes, you take it, and then massive stress, massive relief, stresslessness, all of those things, on one hand, but, you're going to worry. Don't think you're not going to worry. Don't think that entrepreneurship is always going to be easy. No, but the thing about it is things that you work for, you appreciate more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing about it. You're going to appreciate those days. When you have made that big sale that you never thought that you could do, you're going to appreciate that because you're going to know how much work you put into it. You're going to know how much heart and soul you put into it. And you're going to know that it's yours. You're not making anybody else rich. You're doing it for you. You are the one that's going to benefit from it. A lot of times as corporate, we do a whole lot of work, and we're not the one benefiting from it. We may get a nice little bonus, but there's other people that's riding around on jets off of things you're doing.
Yes, I totally agree. And, I was kind of in the same situation, too, in my first stint with entrepreneurship where I was pushed into it because I had a choice. I was downsized. And in making that decision, it was very scary for me because, I sat around, I looked for a job and all of that kind of stuff. And then I recognized I really had gifts that I was utilizing in corporate America, and I needed to put them into action myself for myself. And that's when I saw the light bulb come on and go off, and began to say that perhaps maybe I should look at another way of life. In regards to that, I found challenges, and I'm just kind of curious, what were your challenges when you were just leaving that, starting out? All of us have them. What were some of the challenging aspects you found as a budding entrepreneur?
Okay, well, first you got to get the word out. I mean, some people see you as one thing because you had one persona, and then all of a sudden you have another persona, and you have to teach the people that how you're supposed to be represented. And, they may see you, I can go over here and get this free content or whatever. Now you are running a business, and you can't just give everything for free anymore. You have to charge. And, you'll find out where your followers are, and you'll find out who is really for you and who is just trying to pick your brain. And it's a good thing.
I think we get a lot of that. I think we get a lot of that, Dr. Finch, the brain pickers.
Oh, yeah. And it's good to weed that out early. That, yes, it may be a challenge because you're expecting all these people to flood into you because they had always flooded into you before. But then when you start asking for money for your services, they don't flood the way they used to flood when it may have been free. And so expect that. That's okay, because you are going to attract your right, client, but you got to weed out the blockers before your true client can come in. You got to get that space cleared out for them to know that they have a space and that they can come right on in. And it's okay. It may hurt a couple of times, here and there, but you know what? At the end of the day, you are cleaning out a space for your ideal client. And I need you to look at it that way. Another challenge is, what we already talked about, money. You're used to it coming in, every other week on that Friday. Instead, it could come in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then it won't come in for 2 weeks, and then it'll come in Monday, Tuesday. And you can't really judge. You can't really plan. And it's okay. You will find out that you have a new normal.
Yes.
You'll have a new normal. And
I agree.
That's okay. Once again, that's okay. You have to be flexible. If you're one of those people that get bent out of shape about change, y'all get ready. You're going to be bent out of shape all the time.
Yeah.
But if you're one of the people that go with the flow and make it happen by any means necessary, legal necessary, legal, then you're going to be fine. You're going to say, okay, this is just my new normal, and you're going to welcome the new normal. And it's okay. That's okay, too. I was a person that had a problem with change, so it shook me a little bit. But then I realized that this is something I had to deal with in order to live the life that I was supposed to live. We have to remember, and this is key, and I want everybody to get this, we have to remember that our breakthrough may not look the way we think it's supposed to look. It looks the way he makes it to look.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that. Just because it doesn't look the way you wanted it to look doesn't mean that it's not the breakthrough.
Or the time. We expect it to happen right away.
Right.
And unfortunately, as you mentioned throughout the challenges, it doesn't happen right away. You mentioned the different times that you're used to getting paid on a Friday, where your income may change and it may come on a Monday, and it may not be a consistent Monday flow. It may come on Wednesday. And you mentioned that you have to be prepared for that, because if you're not, then you're more than likely going to struggle within those challenges.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I encourage all entrepreneurs to be mindful of that because it's not an easy transition. And as Dr. Finch stated, it's not for everybody. If you're not prepared to deal with change, as she stated, as well as the challenges that come forth. But I think if you're prepared, you are more willing and ready and able to accept the challenges and the change that comes for you. So, Dr. Finch, in regards to the challenges, the changes, as you mentioned, your fears and all of that, what habits do you have as an entrepreneur that you find that make you successful and that other entrepreneurs can look at as success mechanisms as well?
Well, first off, you have to learn how. First, you got to believe in what you're giving to the people. If you don't believe in it, they can definitely tell, and they're not going to believe in it either. You got to work with boldness, clarity, and confidence. You know, you got to be bold enough to go out there and say that I am the bomb.com and mean it. You got to be clear. You got to be clear in the services that you're providing at the price point that you're providing them, and you're not really into doing too many negotiations because you know your value and your worth. You got to be clear in that. And you got to be confident. You got to stand firm because there's going to be times when you're the only one standing there for your business and for you. And if you can't stand in that confidence, then this may not be for you. So if you could do those three things, then that's going to get you prepared. You're also going to have to be able to market yourself. You're going to have to be able to know where your audience is. Because if you're on social media, per se, and you're on Facebook, but your audience is on Twitter, you're working real hard, but you're not tapping into your audience because they're not there. You need to know where your audience lives so that you can start targeting to that place. You want those instant results. You want those conversions. You don't want to just be putting out things and they're not being received. So that was one thing that I definitely had to learn. Then, of course, you know, you have to know how to negotiate. You know, you have to know that this is the price, but you also need to know when that there is a time that you have to do a pro bono to get your name out there. Or there may be a time when you have to take a certain opportunity that may not look the way you think it is, but then once you do it, it opens 50 doors. You have to have that that mindset to be like, okay, I need to know when to do what and when not to do what. You need to have that discernment in place. That is going to take you far. And a lot of people may not understand the things that you're doing, but it's not for them. It's for you. And then, of course, always, have the mentors, too. Get you a mentor, get you a coach. Let's work smarter, not harder. If somebody's already went through it, you can take in all the meat that they have, spit out the bones, as they say. You know, that's what eagles do. They take in the meat, they spit out the bones. And they're able to soar because of that. And you want to soar, so you're going to learn how to take in the meat that you're hearing. Because you're going to hear a whole lot of meat, and you're going to get a whole lot of bone. And you're going to know which one is your meat and which one is your bone, and you're going to learn how to separate those. And you're going to get into the right circles, and you're going to get into the right areas. You're going to get into the right groups, and you're going to start networking. Networking is king. And don't just put off somebody just because you think that they may not fit into your network. There's been plenty of people that have helped me in my networking or given me opportunities that wasn't even in my area. Didn't even understand what I did. But because they knew I did that, they put my name out there, and that was something that happened. So network with an array of people. You never know how they're going to help you.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. And that kind of went into my next question in regards to credibility, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that and trying to get credibility in what they're doing. As you just mentioned, getting into different networks, meeting different types of people, and making people aware of what you do. I think a lot of times people are silent. They don't want to tell people what they do, and you miss a really large opportunity at that point. Now, in regards to family, friends, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, especially my friends that do direct sales, trying to be successful, they head towards their family and friends, and even in other areas of business. What would you suggest people do? You spoke earlier about trying to find your target audience. But if someone is getting out there and they're having difficulty with doing that, what strategy or technique would you advise them to do specifically? Because you can't go to your friends and family because a lot of times they're not your target or your customer.
And that's exactly where I was getting ready to go. It has been my experience and many other of my entrepreneur experience that your friends and family are not going to buy from you. And they're usually looking for the hookup.
Right.
So, strangers are where they're going who are going to buy from you. And why are the strangers going to buy from you? Because you're going to position yourself as an expert in your field. How do you do that? Judging, let's say we're talking about coaches. We're both coaches on the line here. And so when we are positioning ourselves, we're going to position ourselves as speakers. We're going to show them our speaker reel, our interview reel. Then we're going to show them our coaching one sheet and our speaker one sheet. And if we have a social media one sheet, I do. So I will show them that as well. Then we're going to show them our social media platforms, let them see what we're doing and our following and our reach. Then we're going to show them our books that we've published, because no matter what people say, a book does give you some leverage in the expertise realm. We're going to then show them the groups and affiliations we're in. If we're a part of the ICF, that's a big deal for coaches. Put that on your representation packages that you're sending out. Have a press kit. Have the mail-out press kit as well as the electronic press kit. Some people do still like paper. So have something for the people that like paper and have something for the people that like digital. Don't count out people just because they like paper, because a lot of CEOs don't do their own social media. Some of them actually still read the mail that comes into their box. So don't count it out. Know how to network in print and in electronic. Those are the kind of things you're going to do. You're going to get in with these affiliations, do informational interviews, take some of these CEOs out to lunch, or take some of these leaders of these groups out to lunch. Become their resident coach. These are some of the things you can do to build your credibility. And I'm sure, and there's more, but, that's something to start.
Exactly, and I would agree that's a great place to start, building your credibility, because, you have it in corporate, but when you become an entrepreneur, you're pretty much your own marketing department, you're your own publicist, you're your own everything, until you get to a stage in your life and in your business where you can expand and start to hire someone in. So those are excellent tips, Dr. Finch. Can you share with our listeners what you do and how they can get in contact with you, and anything that you have available that they can go download?
Well, yes, I am a certified coach. My areas are life coaching and social media coaching. And I coach through Finch and Associates. That is my coaching company. I also have an empowerment company. That is Changing Minds Online, and we do the Motivate Social podcast as well as the Motivation Station radio show. We basically give you motivation with edge. We give you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear to be successful in moving your motivation. And that is some of the things that I do in addition to social media ambassadors for different conferences and things of that nature. So how can you find me? You can find me on all social media platforms at DRAD Finch. That's DRAD Finch. And you can also find me at AikynAFinch.com, and that's AIKYNA Finch.com. And then if you want to email me, you're welcome to do so at dradfinch@gmail.com.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, Dr. Finch. So I have two last questions for you here. One would be, if you had one piece of final advice that you would give to someone seeking to enter entrepreneurship, transitioning from their corporate job, what would that one piece of advice be?
Be comfortable with being seen. When you were in corporate, you didn't necessarily have to be seen in order to be the worker bee that you needed to be. But you have to be seen. You have to be able to tell people about your business. You have to be able to promote, be your own PR, be your own marketer, be your chief everything officer when you become an entrepreneur. So all of those times when you were sitting in the background, it's time to come to the foreground and let the people know what you have to give.
Awesome, awesome. And then the last question, Dr. Finch, tell us something about you that we possibly necessarily wouldn't believe or we would totally be inspired by.
Well, something that most people usually don't believe when I tell them is that I'm an introvert. So
I wouldn't believe that.
I had to learn how to be seen. I had to learn how to be heard. I was very comfortable sitting in the background, but being in the background did not get you noticed. It did not get you paid, and it did not get you in the places you need to help and serve. And I know a lot of people say, well, I just want to have a service business, so why should I want to get out there? People need to know where to come to get the service. And I was a servant leader, so I was like, I really don't have to promote. Yes, I do, because if the people don't know where to come get the help, they're not going to come get it. So I have to let them know that there is something out there to help them. The point of having a business is to fix a pain point. But if they don't know where to go get that fix for that pain point, then they're going to stay in pain. So if we do not promote and we do not let people know that we're out there, we're letting people stay in pain.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, I totally agree. Well, Dr. Finch, this has been an absolute fabulous time spending with you. I greatly appreciate you here being a part of the People Connect podcast. And we just thank you so much for sharing your expertise, your knowledge, and making others aware that it is possible that you too can transition from your corporate job into entrepreneurship with the tips that Dr. Finch has laid out, what she shared with us. And if you're interested in learning more about her and what she does, feel free to reach out to her. She got some great things to offer you. So at this time, Dr. Finch, again, like I mentioned, we want to just thank you. And we are at the process at the end of our broadcast here. And I just want to make the listeners aware that this broadcast today is brought to you by TV. If you are interested in lowering your cable or your satellite bills and slashing them in half, putting more money in your pocket, then go to bit.ly/GoTurvy, and you can learn more about how you can save on your entertainment bills of television. At this time, we'd like to again thank you for being a part of our day. Dr. Finch, any final words that you'd like to leave with our audience?
Yes. I want to thank everyone for listening, and as a special gift, I do have a freebie that we have for you. We have social media ebooks. They can give you some tips about some of the things that we discussed in the call about the marketing and the social media to help you get your voice out. So if you would like to know more about that, just go to AikynaFinch.com, and the first page you get to, the opt-in will pop up, and you're able to get your freebie right there. So please enjoy.
Fabulous. I'm sure it's an excellent tool and a resource to help people get started and what they need to do to be successful as a social media entrepreneur and just stepping out there and getting yourself known. Well, thanks again. Until next time, this is your host, Nichelle Womack, signing off. May everything you touch turn to gold. Be blessed and highly favored in everything that you do. We'll talk with you real soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.